Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. I'd like to just first of all give a thank you to all of the panelists that are on today. Thank you so much for joining us. I have with me already Dr. Tommy Watson, the international DJ Finesse, Courtney Jacobs, James Edwards. We have several additional people that's going to be popping into the screen here as well. But I wanted to come on and give you an opportunity to get right into today's broadcast. Make sure you guys share this with all of your friends, your coworkers, everyone. Let them know that the Kim Jacobs Show is here on the air. And let me go ahead and pull this up to welcome everyone. Welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show, Dr. Tommy Watson, international DJ Finesse, Javon Jackson, James Edwards, Dr. Adams, Courtney Jacobs. It's a whole bunch of people that's going to be on today. We're talking about the redemption of the Black man. So it's going to be a fantastic topic, but I don't want to start until you get a chance to share it with your friends and your coworkers. Each of them will give themselves a formal introduction, but I'll give a brief overview as well. So I'm going to go ahead and start popping you guys into the screen. For everyone that's backstage, just let me know. Okay, let me go ahead and bring you in, Andre. How are you?
Hey, how y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Good. Okay, I see over here Mr. Tyrone TC Carter. How are you?
How you doing, ma'am? I'm doing good.
Good, good. So glad to have you all. Okay, so I'm going to do a formal introduction. I have somebody calling. Anytime you guys just know that. What's
somebody
that? Calling and stuff. Is that you, Andre?
That's Jay.
Somebody calling me. I don't know what that is.
My brother Javon is the lead facilitator on this today, and he's calling everybody and making sure everybody's in place. So definitely.
Hey, tell what's calling.
And very cool. Let me begin by that person first. Let me introduce Dr. Tommy Watson, who is an educational consultant and author. Make sure when you guys are not speaking that you just mute your phones, mute your microphones. Dr. Tommy Watson is an educational consultant and author, and we know him as Dr. Inspiration. So you're going to get to know a lot more about him. Welcome, Dr. Tommy Watson.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here today. We have the international DJ Finesse. Yes, I say it with an attitude because if you don't know Dr. International DJ Finesse, then you are missing out on one of the biggest hip hoppers in the world. He's a hip hop historian, and he also focuses on prison and community reform. Welcome, International DJ Finesse. I grew up on your. I know. I'm from Newport News. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for being here today. We also have, let's see who over here. Mr. Tyrone TC Carter, two-time Super Bowl champion. A great smile over there. Jim Thorpe Award recipient. Welcome, Tyrone Carter.
Thanks for having me, ma'am. You know, you the queen. So whatever you call, baby, you win.
Okay.
I appreciate you having me.
Remember that I had that on recording over here. I have James Edwards. Mr. James Edwards is a devoted husband and a devoted father. I mean, his son just adores him. Like literally, you think he's a king. He is a king. He is a king. Definitely a king in his house for sure. And he's an entrepreneur. Welcome, James Edwards, to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let me bring in my brother over here, Courtney Jacobs. I can't see you, Courtney. Okay, I'm going to bring in Dr. Thomas Adams. How are you, Dr. Adams?
I'm absolutely wonderful. How are you doing?
Good, good. Dr. Adams is the president and CEO of Better Futures Minnesota. And you're going to be hearing a lot more from him today as well. Welcome, Dr. Adams. So let's see. Okay, Tyrone Carter over there. Are you working out? What you doing?
I'm going to my studio.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
I stay busy, man. I'm fighting this fight and ain't no time to stop.
Okay, I'm glad that you could make this happen today. Andre, Ava is on today. And
how y'all doing?
The founder of people empowering people. Welcome, Andre.
How y'all doing today, brothers?
Peace.
All
Peace. How
right,
y'all?
We doing
What's
good.
happening? What's happening?
Courtney.
All right.
Courtney Jacobs. Let's see. It's frozen, Courtney. And Courtney is a guru in doing all these videos and stuff. So I'm sure he'll be coming back in for whatever reason it's frozen. So we'll let him know that, and then he'll pop back in. So I want to make sure I don't leave anyone off. Let's see here. My brother.
I
Did
want
I
to do
introduce
this.
everyone so far? I think so. That's on the screen anyway. It's a lot of people backstage. So. All right. And to my studio audience, everyone that's coming in right now, I just want to welcome you to today's show. We're going to ask a lot of questions of these men, so begin to type your questions and comments. Today is talking about the redemption of the Black man with all of the things that's happening in our society today. We know there's a lot of social unrest. Even as recent as today, the news talks about some of these things. So we have to, I hear an echo. Yes, okay. Thank you to Morgan, who's in the back office. She's a student at NC State and has been working with us, but I want to make sure that you know her efforts are greatly appreciated as well. Portland police said that they did not participate in dispersing the crowds and that they did not make any arrests. They did not use CS gas. Okay, these are just some facts that we have backstage, but we're going to be talking about the redemption today of the Black man and how you all feel as Black men in our society today. So first, I want you to unmute your mic, Dr. Tommy Watson, and begin to just tell a little bit about you. Let me bring my brother in. I see him backstage. Hold on. Hey, Javon.
No, not yet, Kim. Not yet.
Oh. He said, not yet. Don't play, Kim. My brother is working behind the scenes, but you'll see him as well. And he's the one that's coordinated all of these gentlemen that you see on the panel today. So he's been on early and got everything arranged, and now he's backstage trying to make sure things go smoothly for everyone. Dr. Watson, let's just start with you and tell us a little bit about you, what you do in the community and in your respective area. And whatever views you want to start off with, feel free. But I'd like to just give everyone a chance to introduce yourselves formally first.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for having us, Kim. My man Javon Jackson, longtime friend. Thomas Adam, thank you, brother. Good seeing you as well. Tyrone Carter, our friend of almost 30 years as well. So appreciate and glad to see us all on together. I've been a former principal educational consultant. I grew up in Denver, Colorado. I think we mentioned before that I grew up under some pretty difficult circumstances there with my parents being arrested 121 times by the time I graduated high school. So I spent a lot of time homeless as a kid and teenager growing up in Denver. However, thank God for education. I went on and got my degrees from University of Minnesota and became a school principal. And now I go around the country trying to empower us to get beyond these three pandemics we're facing right now, with the pandemic of COVID-19 and definitely with the injustices that are taking place in our society, but also the injustice that we're doing to each other. So I told Javon yesterday that unfortunately in my hometown of Denver, Colorado, there's a gang war going on. I've lost two cousins, one of them within the last 24 hours due to it, and another one within the last 2 weeks. So, I think we definitely have to deal with, unfortunately, all three aspects of the pandemic hitting us at this particular time.
That's unbelievable. And this is unfortunately a common communication that we can say, oh, I lost this person or this person within the last 24 hours. That's not normal to have to even be able to say that so frequently. And I'm a Black female, but to hear even just, I just constantly hear friends and family, co-workers, church members that say, oh, you know what, everybody pray for me. I just lost 3 people due to crime yesterday. Or that's abnormal to be having to say that. I don't know how you all feel about that, but
it's unfortunate because this young man also left behind 4 children as well. So now at the age of 44, he's gone. His kids, 2 years old and 4 years old and teenagers, they don't have a father figure right there. And now they're concerned with the retaliation taking place between the gangs, and now the family has to figure out what they're going to do next. So it's there's a lot we're dealing with as black men, a lot we need to do on a personal, individual level to make ourselves in a better position as well.
Okay. Yeah, very much so. International DJ Finesse, you want to tell a little bit about you? Because you're a hip hop legend, and most people know you as a pioneer in the hip hop world. And what are some of your thoughts on what's happening today in today's society?
Well, once again, thanks for having me, Kim. Yeah, I'm a hip hop pioneer. I'm from the Universal Zulu Nation. We are the pioneers of hip hop. Before us, I was mentored by Ed Fletcher, Duke Moody, who come from the Parliament Funkadelics out of Jersey, also guys who were before what we did with hip hop. And what I also do is coming out of the projects of Elizabeth, New Jersey, and living in Newark, New Jersey as well, right next door. You know, we absolutely go through the same thing that brother was just talking about prior, with all the gang violence and uh, prison. A lot of people got life in prison. A lot of people lost their lives. So I focus on community reform. I talk to the gang leaders. That's my thing. A lot of people run from the gangs. I don't run from the gangs. I
Okay.
go to the leader, and if I can get through to the leader, then I hold the leader accountable for educating everything underneath him.
That's good.
And that's one of the things that I do also. When so I've been a young father. I was a father since I was 15 years old. Um, so I kind of understand, and what I do through hip hop and through boxing, uh, the kids love. All the kids want to learn how to do rap music that I meet, and all the kids want to know how to defend themselves and fight. So I use that platform to get their attention, and then uh, give. I try to do what was happening in the very beginning. I try to teach these guys about what the foundation was about for real, and a lot of things that's happening today with the music is being used on a negative. They're misinforming the communities, and they're promoting self-destruction. Shoot 'em up, kill, get high, use drugs, go to prison, live life and die, live fast and die young. Nah, man. We teach self-production, peace, unity, love, and let's have some fun. And since this is a $1 billion business, let's make some money so we can be able to provide for ourselves and our families and make a difference in our communities is what it's about for real. So now, you know, coming from that, as well as coming from the struggles of understanding being in prison, uh, when a judge telling you, if you go to trial and lose, you're gonna get 30 years, and then going inside these prisons, and I say, man, why would God put me through such a hardship until I got in there? Then I see so many young men in there that got life, and then I talk to them and find out what went wrong or why did they go a negative route. A lot of them didn't have a father. There's a lot of grown guys in the world. There's not enough men. And when that crack hit in the 80s, that crack thing shook the families, you know, where maybe the moms might be on the drug or hardcore substance like a heroin or a crack, and their dad might be doing the same thing or in prison. So now you got a lost young teenager or younger, and who's going to educate these young kids? So they don't know what to do. One of the kids told me he got 18 years in. He said, I just wanted to play football with my father. You know, I just wanted to come to the games, man. And he never made it. He couldn't make it because he was on crack. And so my thing is to reform. I'm a substance abuse counselor as well, and I'm a youth counselor as well. And it's all about that strong word that's the topic, redemption. Because he or she without sin, throw the first stone. Let me see.
That's
And if
very key.
you're
That's
gonna
very
point,
key.
you're gonna point a finger. Look at how many pointing back at you, and what you gonna do about it. You gonna lean on the problem, or you gonna figure out a solution. So
That's
that's why.
good. Very good. James, take your mic off and introduce yourself to everyone and share a comment or two that you want to share as well. I have some specific questions for each of you all, but I want to give you a chance to introduce yourselves to everyone. And before you start speaking, James, let me tell you the definition of redemption. It says the action of saving or being saved from sin, error, or evil. So it's God's plan for the redemption of the world. It's a noun, and it's several other topics too, like defined as the action of regaining or gaining professionalism, possession, or something in exchange for payment or clearing a debt. So when I think of redemption of the black man, and Javon came up with this title, it's restoring and being saved from everything that's going on in our society today. That's what it came to mind whenever Javon shared this topic with me. Go ahead, James.
Well, how y'all doing, everybody? I'm James Edwards from Richmond, Virginia, entrepreneur. Came to this topic today talking about redemption, going back to what DJ Finesse said about all this prison. As he was talking, I was writing down all my friends, and I was writing down all the time when it did. But between 10 of my friends, we got 50-some years in prison. And this is my friends I run with every day. I grew up with. I ain't even add the list of people that I know through just growing up around the way with them. But reform, redemption, I always go back to the mental, man. We got to go back subconsciously. We got to go back and rebuild mentally. We got to come together as one. We got to be bloods again, not gang, but blood. You know, we got to be one. We got to unify. So back to the fathers and all that. We need our fathers back home. I mean, and we need our fathers to be there, to not just be there, but to actually teach something. Not what I want, but what you want. But at the same time, we don't have to agree, but we come together as one when we do. So that's just me.
That's good. Good. Thank you so much. And if you can cut some type of light on, I'm going to put you backstage, cut some kind of light on, because it's a little bit too dark and I can't really see clearly. Okay, Dr. Adams.
Hey, something just happened right in front of me before I guess I gotta leave. But stand still because this is important. I didn't know this was gonna happen. Watch what I'm about to do. I think
Wait a
he's
minute, okay, so it's some kind of breaking news situation. DJ Finesse is going to share.
A police officer was sticking around me. He must have got a call. I was going to surprise you guys with that, but he just pulled up on the side of me to let me know that he must have got a call or something. He had to go. But that was part of what I was going to say about what's the solution to these things. It was actually a white police officer as well that was kind enough to sit here with me, and when the timing was right for me to introduce him, because I seen the 7th question. What's the solution to it for real? But I guess he just got a call because he just pulled up on me and he pulled off fast. God willing, he'll come back before everything is over with, and then you'll see.
Okay, excellent point, because I do agree that that's part of the solution as well, as being able to get both sides, because it's like it's not us versus them or them versus everybody else or anything like that, but figuring out how to synergistically work together. So I'm really grateful for that. Dr. Adams?
Good morning. How you doing?
Good morning.
First of all, good morning, brothers. Wonderful to share this panel with two of my Omega brothers. What's up, Q's? So, there's obviously a bunch of things. A little bit about myself. I grew up in St. Paul. Grew up with a single parent. I always tell folks I didn't live in the projects, but you could walk to them from my back door. So that's who I hung, that's who we hung out with. That's what I did. Similar to Dr. Watson, Tommy's situation, was able to go to college on a football scholarship, and things really turned around for me from there. Social activism is in my blood. My mother was a social activist. I'm a 5-time great nephew of Toussaint Louverture, who led the slave revolt in Haiti. My son's middle name is Toussaint. We carry that very proudly in our family. I've made a commitment to work with Black men, Black families, my entire life. And so when I think about redemption, I certainly think about restoring the rightful place that Black men had in this world, and remembering, helping us remember what our rightful place is. And I love talking about what we can do as people, what we can do as individual Black men. But it would be remiss if I don't mention that there are systems that are attacking us on a daily basis. And these systems are designed to break us down. And if we're not aware of those, we certainly can and should build ourselves from within. But we've got to break down and dismantle these systems that have an onslaught on our families, that have an onslaught on our men. When we talk about where all the men at, well, why can't they be there? A lot of them's locked up, right? And then, well, let's go back to the let's vote. We can change the system by voting. In Minnesota, if you got felony probation or parole, you can't vote. So that wipes you out for 30 years. So there's a whole bunch of things that I spend my time really breaking down some systemic things that have been designed to keep us on the outskirts of society. When you talk to many black men, we know what we got to do. And many of us are doing it in individual circles. We're doing it in our households. But there's a whole fight that's happening on a systemic level. And so I spend a lot of my time really focusing on that.
Okay. Yeah, Morgan, I did that on purpose because Courtney's typing in the comments and I want to make sure that he gets pulled into the show. So Courtney, I just want to make sure that you know that you can come on into the show and we'll pull you in. My brother, Javon Jackson, I want to make sure you unmute your mic. You're the person that's pulled all of these speakers together and hear about yourself and something that you want the community to hear.
Okay, well, first of all, thank all of the panelists for obliging the effort today and you guys coming out, because without you guys, it wouldn't happen. The topic wouldn't happen. We wouldn't have a great panel as we do. So I appreciate all of you guys and thank you, Kim, for having us on the show. So first of all, I just want to kind of, at this point in time, collaborate with what everybody else is saying. I mean, it's about family. It's about, like James said earlier, it's about healing the mind. I'm big on that, because a lot of us walking around PTSD, mental issues, and they're unforeseen. And it's like that's big in our community, and it's based off of circumstances and situations that we've been in the past. So, it's time for us to figure out a way to address that. Like DJ Finesse said earlier with the hip hop, especially in the hip hop community, which seems to be leading our culture. Entertainment, for some reason, leads our culture instead of, some of these other diversified fields like doctors or lawyers, and which it seems cliche to say, but we have to put more effort into building other disciplines like that to, get people away from just like the whole hype on the entertainment. The music is self-destructing right now. It's nothing that's positive. You can't learn anything from it. And us coming from the 90s, one thing that taught us in hip hop is that, that's how I got my whole library pretty much, because of hip hop. Every artist I heard promote a author, then I go out and get that book because I was interested enough, whether it be like different religious aspects, all the way from Christianity to Islam to the 5%, whatever the case may be. I always went and studied that knowledge. So that helped me gain some type of awareness about myself. And if I can duplicate or either replicate that for the youngins now that's out here, then, that's where, we have to figure out a system and some type of, not only a system, but some type of protocol that can be in place that can differentiate that and minimize like the entertainment, because it's just entertainment. They just artists, so I don't care if whatever their personal effects are, or if they doing whatever, but when you're starting to promote and change my household and my family, and I have to talk to my daughters and my kids about the negative influences that you promote, and I'm very concerned. So at that point in time, it's just like I said, it's all about the family and pretty much putting better mental awareness to our situations and stuff. So that's pretty much
excellent, Jay. Excellent. Tyrone, TC, Carter, do you want to say something? Oh, wait, we can't hear you. we could hear you earlier, but your mic is okay. Try it again. Okay, yeah. I'll put you out and just come back in. And Courtney, are you there? Courtney, unmute your mic. Okay, this is my brother as well, Courtney Jacobs. You would like to say something?
Hey, Kim. Hey, everybody.
What's up, man? Peace.
My signal is really bad.
Well, at least it's frozen on your smile. It's like this. Okay, I'll wait till your signal is better. Let's go to Tyrone. TC, are you able to? Can we unmute your mic?
Y'all hear me?
There you go.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, that's what I'm talking about, man. Hey, I appreciate all these kings that's over here joining us. Want to be able to talk about some things that we need to be changed. And to have our queen in place to organize this, and it's a beautiful thing. And have my Gopher brothers, you guys just don't understand what this means to me to have Javon Jackson in here and Tommy Watson that been through the same thing I've been through in my life. And to have to come to Minnesota from all different avenues of life and to build ourselves to understand what this life is for us. And we use that. And to see all us branched out into different avenues, and now we back here fighting for something that we was fighting for, going to college. And it's sad it's 2020 and we still facing these same issues. Well, I started my foundation because I used the same very tools to help me accomplish this thing I accomplished in my life. Being fatherless, motherless. I was raised by a queen, my grandmother. And when you talk about family together, nobody teaches us about entrepreneurship at a young age. My grandfather told me that raised me at 73 years old, a black man won't be nothing till he owns his own. They tell us to get an education, to have a family, to be working for somebody. But if I go to college and I get that education, doctor degree, whatever it is, the debt I done accumulated, the government gonna always owe me. So I know then my grandma couldn't pay for me to go to college. For me to get it, I had to use what God blessed me with. I found out about athletic scholarship. I researched that, which my grandma had me doing. And when you turn around in today's society, I started a TC Elite Foundation, teaching young men that they control their destiny because they can't pick their parents. They sure enough can't pick the environment they're raised up in. And we as communities, adults, states, country, we supposed to be obligated to keep these kids on fair grounds so they can achieve what you guys say the American dream. But we all know the systematic racism for a black African-American man, they don't want us in the household for a reason. So they can manipulate our queens. And not only that, that man voice speaks volume when they're in the house with their kids. So what I did is I use football to gravitate to these kids. And I teach them that they control their destiny. They got to be able to see it, believe it, and work for it daily. Only person can stop you is you. You ain't got to worry about your parents because their parents did their thing by bringing us in this earth. And they only obligated to put clothes on our back, feed us. But we as human beings, we got to understand what we want. Each kid has I call it a golden blessing. God bless us all, just like our hands. Our fingerprints will never be the same. The reason why I put that in example, because if I don't like the way my life is, which is me, my fingerprint, I got to be owned by it. I got to get my hands dirty to change it. Stop waiting for people to do something for you. Go after what you want. I realized that. I've been in Minnesota for 8 years. I done sent 32 kids from college. And that's all it was. Hey, you guys want to go to college? You got to work. And I didn't give them anything. They had to work for it. These kids are they feel they entitled to something because of their parents, because of the system. Well, if they continue to live by this system, why you think it's been over 400 years for us to be depressed? And then to take it a little bit farther, it's only been over 50 years for they to integrate us. That's not a long time. So if you surprise, you late. If you surprise, you late as an African American man, period. They say 400 years depression. It hasn't changed, right? So what we gonna do about it? Well, I started my first protest because my grandma was a civil rights activist. My mama was 22 years old with 5 kids. I realized at 10 years old, education and family for the America, that was some BS. Because if you see my mama was 22 years old with 5 kids, why didn't you educate her to take care of her kids so we could stay together as that family you talking about? But what they thought about it, just like I grew up in the 70s, the 80s hit my family when the drugs came up in here. It threw the African-American, the inner city away because they put it in there. It killed our families. And also for the government to know that was going to happen, guess what they're going to do? Take the kids away. Because they only say 2 things can happen to me, dead or jail. Well, I'm a 2-time All-American, consistent. I'm 11-year NFL vet, never broke any bones, no surgery. And I'm a 2-time world champ. Well, how you think that came? Number 1 is support group. Number 2 is here. Because I realized at a younger age, we only use 10% of our physical attributes, what God gonna bless us with. The other 90 come up here. So if the other 90 come up here, I'm gonna concentrate on this. Preparation is the key. We know what's out there. They know what's out there. They're experts, right? We know too. Is we gonna continue to rely on the government to tell us what to do? I've been working against the government all my life. And when I'm done, I'm still not working for them. I start my own. And I teach my kids right now. They got all the tools in their mind. All the ideas could come up with a plan to start businesses. But guess what? They don't teach them. They all about curriculum. Who curriculum? That curriculum ain't gonna get you none in this real world. This real world gonna eat you up and spit our kids out. Tommy, you lost 2 of your families. Guess what? I'm in the state of Minnesota. I just lost 2 of my cousins within a week, and they know about it. All the gangs is going against each other, the high end versus the low end. They know, but they want to defund the police. Guess what they doing? They sitting back and watching. Just like when the protests come, when they doing the burnings. They see it, they sit back and watch it. Because at the end of the day, nobody with all this Black Lives Matter they talk about, but what about black on black crime? Ain't that black lives? Well, they don't matter. That's what they say. Oh, no, we ain't going to worry about that. Oh, we going to only worry about when it's black on white. Well, what examples you showing? A black life is a black life. What is black on black crime? We need to find out how we can stop it. But if you keep on saying it's black on black crime and you're ignoring the fact, it's the same thing that's keep happening. That's why they're working with us, because guess what? We can't come together as African-American community and family. Now, you ain't got to like me. I ain't got to like you, but we got to learn to understand what our purpose is to make a difference. We supposed to suffer for better, and that's why I'm here for.
Well, you said a mouthful. It is just, I'm telling you, you done preached a sermon like you were standing right in the pulpit. So I'm grateful for the words that all of you've already shared. And when you speak about black on black crime, that's something that is something that resonates everywhere. And I would like to kind of hear, and just like in maybe 1 or 2 minutes or less, so each person gets a chance to say something too. I want to hear your theory or thoughts on black on black crime, because Tyrone, yours is great and it's very profound what you're saying. That if every black life matters, then every black life matters, regardless of who takes the black life, is what I think I'm hearing you say.
Yes, ma'am.
Whether it's another black person taking the black life or a white person or any other nationality, that black life still matters. So
correct.
Go ahead. Anybody, any of you that want to start, Dr. Tommy, and then International.
I don't know if Andre had a chance to jump in yet.
Andre.
Introduce himself, though.
Right. I was about to say we missed one intro.
Okay.
Yeah. No problem.
We got a lot going on here.
Help me.
Okay. Y'all had me hooked in. I was into the storyline.
Go ahead, Andre.
Well, my name is Andrea Vaughn. I'm from Newport News, Virginia. I started a nonprofit called People Empowering People. I've wanted basically my whole life. I've been a taker. I seen a way that I can, reverse that energy that we're talking about. And like you were saying, finding my purpose. Accumulation, I did close to 6 years locked up. And one of the things that I took away from that is, since we're talking about it, is the resurrection. And my biggest avenue of resurrection was the changing of my people, places, and things. We have to reconstruct our whole mind as far as let's take the mindset of a hustler. He can hustle for 24 hours a day, but if you give an 8-hour shift to him, I can't work no 8 hours a day. It's the mindset of a taker. You know what I'm saying? So, and like he was saying, the DJ was saying earlier, he go to the games, he in the rough, he got to go to it because we speak the lingo, we know the talk, we walk the walk. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of guys don't like to listen to people who ain't been through it. When I come to when I come speaking, the way I look and the way I present myself, they don't even get a chance to say, you don't know what you're talking about, OG. They don't even get a chance to say it because I come to them saying it. I come to them breathing it. You know what I'm saying? So I started this to help and to feed the homeless. And when you start to do community activists, it takes you to other avenues. So now I'm into prison reform, trying to get fellas to be able to vote. Trying for fellas to come home to a good go home plan. Some people can't go home from prison because they don't have nowhere to go to. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they don't have an address, they can't go home. So it's a lot of things that we got to set into place. And it's a lot of things like the brothers on here. We got the mind and the mental to do it. You know what I'm saying? And it's just our time. And it's the universe and the stars aligned that I happen to be doing right and happen to want to be right at a time I can be right. So that's why I'm here. I appreciate y'all, brothers.
So grateful that you're here. And that's
right.
Again, great. People Empowering People is Andrea Vaughn's organization, People Empowering People. So what I want to do right quick before we go on is I definitely see a lot of audience comments coming in. And I have to make sure I acknowledge my studio audience. Wow, that's
thanks, Elise.
Alice said, "Wow, good stuff, Andre." Mindset. Valerie Dixon said it's important. Thank you all. They're really chiming in on what you all are saying. Tyrone, on point. Allison Ski said, "Thank you, Tyrone Carter. Very on point comments." One of you all said that the preparation. It's a lot of great things that you all are saying here in the audience chiming in. Amen. My mom said that.
Hey, Ma.
Our mom, like I say, our mom said you and I are here today, right? Full of knowledge, our mom is saying. TC Elite Foundation. Also, let me make sure that Morgan type this, DJ Finesse. We're going to type a specific thing that you're going to be sharing as well. Go ahead and say that, DJ Finesse, so we can type that up there.
No, what we were talking about from the very beginning?
Yes.
No, I was just letting it be known in the introduction that's important that I mentioned the Universal Zulu Nation.
The Universal Zulu Nation. Make sure we type that up here as well so we can give shout out to the Universal Zulu Nation that he wants to promote up here as well. And TC Elite Foundation, which is started by Tyrone TC Carter. Make sure you all check that out. And it sounds like a lot of great information that you can learn and take ownership of your life and your destiny. I love it. You're muted, Tyrone. Okay, somebody said you're muted. Mental awareness is very important. I'm trying to make sure if it's any questions. Mitch McConnell, representative in Kentucky, released a glowing statement praising the late John Lewis as he blocks the restoration of the Voting Rights Act. Anybody want to comment to that, to one of my studio audience members?
Figures. That's what I'll say about that. What I will say is this question on black crime, right? And so I'm looking forward to a spirited discussion with my brothers because I don't believe in it. I don't buy it. 92% of black folks that are victims of violent crimes are there's a black perpetrator. 89% of white people who are victims of violent crimes, there's a white perpetrator. But we don't talk about white on white crime. We don't talk about Asian on Asian crime. We don't talk about Native American on Native American crime. Violent crime is a manifestation of proximity. You hurt who's close to you. And so I'm just not, do I care about black people dying? Of course. But most black people don't march. They march about justice. When a black person kills another black person, he get caught or she get caught and they get locked up. But when other people kill black bodies, somehow they don't never get justice. So that's what people march about. So I'm certainly open to what brothers got to say, but I don't buy this whole black on black stuff, because crime is a manifestation of proximity and people kill who's next to them, and it's across all races, and that's just a fact.
Wow. Anybody else?
Yeah, let me chime in on that. Dr. Adams, I would like to chime in on that, of course, because I'm with you, and I agree that whole play up is more like a marketing scheme to just highlight our black destruction instead of just like man destruction. Like you said, it's just like it's a problem in every community with proximity, and we have to readdress that narrative. We have to stop buying into that narrative, and that's part of the redemption. That's part of bringing us back to the right mind frame. You know, so we have to be able to understand that, one, is crime going to happen in your community because of the circumstances, which a lot of us don't want to acknowledge, because of the systematic things in play, which a lot of us don't want to acknowledge. So, you know, we just think that these things are happy chance, and it's just, you know, little John just want to act up. But come on, he's acting up because, like Keyshawn, DJ Finesse said that,
That's right.
Like you said earlier, when you were saying about the youth not listening, it's in one ear out the other. They're listening to this music more so over real men right here. And then you couple that with like the lack of us being in the household, then, you know, this is all leading to this supposed black on black crime, but they're just young, unguided youth. I was a young, unguided youth at one point in time, and I had a stable home. I came from a stable home, but I came from an environment that pull you into the streets, you know. So, you know, I come from good stock. Queens raised me. I had a great male influence around me as well. So, you know, as far as the black on black crime, we have to change that narrative, and we got to understand that not only we have to change the narrative, but we also got to be able to approach the young men and young women that's perpetrating these activities, and then talk to them continuously, nonstop, until it change. And that's what I think is necessary.
Very good point.
Very well put. Javon, Dr. Adams, I agree completely, man. I love seeing the energy that Tyrone Carter, man, is professing, man. This has been great. I think everything that's been said, I agree with completely. You know, I've been reading a book on early emergence of black millionaires in our country. And one of the things you find out over and over again, that they decided that no matter what was going on around them, we were going to take care of each other. Though. They were going to take care of community. And someone mentioned before, it starts with mindset. I remember growing up as a kid, watching my mom and dad do heroin, my grandmother drinking herself unconscious, and everything else. But I told myself in that environment, though, that this cannot be it for me, though. And like it's been said before several times here, sports has elevated many of us beyond many of those circumstances. So when I would do a lot of work with our educators, I tell our teachers a lot of times, don't crush your kids' dreams by telling them they can't go and play NFL or NBA. I said, you let life determine that, though. What your job is to take that dream and begin to do reverse engineering to start saying, okay, well, what is it going to take for you to get to the NFL? Well, in order to go to the NFL, you got to go to college first. Okay, so let's talk about what you got to do to go to college. Let's talk about the class you got to take in high school, and then junior high school, and then elementary school. One of the things we do, we allow other people to kill the dreams of our kids. And I keep telling our educators, don't kill the dreams of our kids. You know, for me in my neighborhood, what was the two ideas I had from success were the black males who were in the Crips. They were on the corners. They looked successful. And then obviously the Denver Bronco players who came on television who like success, who looked like me as well. So if you told me I couldn't go to the Broncos, I was going to the games. So we got to let our kids dream. We have to let them know that they have the power to create the reality that they want. And then we got to continue to support organizations like Dr. Adams and all the other organizations that are fighting against these institutional inequalities that we're facing in our country, though. But we have to know that it all starts on an individual level. We have to start believing in ourselves. We have to get the leadership skills. We have to become entrepreneurs. I'm big on, like Tyrone said, I was a principal. And people were saying, you can retire as a principal. I said, no, I want my own I want freedom. I want freedom of time, freedom of finances. So I left being a principal. So we have to be willing to bet on ourselves and know that we come from stock where we can do that. We've been doing it for many generations, and that they can't. There's a reason that we're feared so much. We're not hated just because of the color of our skin. We're feared because they know we're dominant.
Right.
We dominate them.
That's a good point, Dr. Watson. Okay, so I can already tell that this discussion is definitely going to need to go beyond just one episode, because I have like 7 questions here. And so I was telling you, I want to make sure I don't wait right until noon to say this. I would be very interested in kind of keeping this panel together and maybe bringing in someone in a different area. Like, for example, if we have a discussion about the relationship between the police, maybe bringing on someone from the police department and having some discussion. What are your thoughts about doing something like that? Would you guys be open-minded to coming back
Yes,
and doing
yes,
redemption of the black man?
I also got a group that we've been fighting this fight since George Ford died. It's called 10K. And what 10K is we call it free people. You know, they act like we don't exist as an African-American man, right? So as a free people, we finna go and get our own stuff back, meaning own more stuff in the community, teaching our kids ourselves and govern our own community as a black African-American community. You know, and I got my lead brother, I call him, come on, sit over here, Jonathan Mason.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Real quick, I can kind of touch on a lot of the stuff Tyrone was talking about real quick. I've been fighting for justice and obviously against equality for the last 10 years. I have my own consulting firm, a cultural competency consulting firm. Also, I'm a justice fighter, you know, a community activist within Minneapolis, Minnesota. When George Floyd died, the man behind me, we immediately mobilized 10 to 20,000 people. It was one of the biggest marches in the history of Minnesota. And what we're doing here in Minnesota is I'm bringing the whole black community. We're talking about together. I'm an ADOS, so you know, ADOS is a African descendant of slavery. So what does reparations actually look like? And how can we bring this to fruition? So and I always say, what does 40 acres and a mule look like now? You know, my great grandma was 105. She just died a couple years ago. And I was talking to her, what would be reparations for you? And for us, it's really a transactional, compromise, I guess, between the two parties, and it's almost like restitution. So there has to be an acknowledgement of that. And when I say 40 acres and a mule, we have to put tangible numbers on this type of stuff and the generational wealth that comes along with this this fight. And then we have to talk about what it looks like, whether it's 35 acres, the redesigning the American Homestead Act of 1862, and like Tyrone was touching on just a bit ago, how does free people of America or sovereignty look like within America? So let me give you a couple of examples. I'm doing a couple initiatives to be able to own our own land, get our own water supplies, and then working with black business owners and people who own, you know, the old sharecroppers back in the day. My people are from Memphis, Tennessee, and so what we're doing is we're gathering all this information up to be able to come to the table. And you know, when we have the conversations about reparations, like T.I. is having, and a lot, you know, the BET CEO, I forget his name, but he was talking about how it was maybe 14 to 17 trillion. But the numbers are, it might be 44 trillion. That might be a little bit high, but I don't think so, because it's priceless on what our ancestors did. So I wouldn't mind having the conversation and saying 50 trillion, and then having a real structured plan around that. And so bringing us all together and saying, how can we all help each other? I believe in iron sharpens iron. And so that's why me and Tyrone, you know, he has his NFL stuff and all the stuff that he's doing. I'm in a different area. You know, I'm taking over, you know, I want to do black unions for sports in America. We're doing this, and I work with a couple guys. I work with Royce White. He's actually my business partner within 10K. He was the one who went to the Houston Rockets and spoke out against mental illness within the NBA, and they actually, you know, said that he was afraid to fly and all this stuff. So he has a series called I Fly, and it talks on how they stop systematic change. So it's similar to what they did to Colin Kaepernick and all that. So that's my little brief bit. I know you guys probably got to all get going, and Tyrone probably talked you guys the ear off. But
thank you for joining in on the conversation, because that's excellent information, and we'd love to have you come back as well. And so as we it's so many comments coming in. So many people are basically saying, hey, you know, we need these kings that are discussing the information. The I Fly series is what this young man James just talked about, so make sure you look into that.
Yeah, my name is Jonathan Mason. It's Jonathan, and it's Mason.
And
Jonathan
Mason.
Yep.
Spell it again.
Yep. Mason, Mason.
Jonathan?
No, Jonathan. Mason, Mason.
Okay.
And then I'm with the 10K Foundation. That's 10kfoundation.org. 10kfoundation.org. And all of our initiatives will be on there, newsletters. Basically what we've done, we feed the homeless. We're going to be trying to feed 250,000 people a year. And it's going to keep growing. You know, our people, no, it's 10, like the number 10. 10K.
Type that for me, Morgan.
Okay,
10K.
I will.
Number 10.
I will.
I love the way the fact that our brothers use their accolades to grab the youth, whether it's in music, football, boxing. I love the way they do that. I love that. Excellent.
And Jonathan, that's excellent. With you, with DJ Finesse, Dr. Watson, Dr. Adams, James, Edwards, Andre, Javon, all of you all are committed to helping our young people realize that at the end of the day, we need to own things. We need to take ownership of our lives and our destiny. Here, 10K Foundation. I see it right here. Thank you. We'll put that up.
Absolutely.
Are there any, because I mean, again, we have all kinds of topics to cover here, and we might go a few minutes longer than noon, but I just want to make sure that that I get a chance to hear from every person that would like to say some things. What is the
I would like to say something before I lose the thought.
Say it again.
I would like to say something important before I lose the thought.
Go.
I show you, I don't believe in coincidence. I believe in destiny. Now watch what God does with power. I'm here in Minnesota on the line. I'm in Atlanta. We're the ones in Atlanta that went 200 cars, 1,000 people deep to Brunswick, Georgia, when that happened to Ahmad. That was us from Atlanta that led to protest. Now, we didn't know that it was going to happen in Minnesota. I have an artist named Peace God in Minnesota. I said, do the same thing we're doing. I see the work you guys are doing in Minnesota. We're shaking not just the United States, we are now shaking the world.
Yeah, hey, sir, my brother, let me touch on that real quick. I was just actually with Ahmaud Arbery's mother. So what we did was 2 weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, we had all the mothers from all over the United States, and we led them to the Capitol. So we had Ahmaud Arbery's family, I had Breonna Taylor's family, I had George Floyd's family, I had Emmett Till's family, I had Tamir Rice's family, we had Sandra Bland's family. And so what we're doing is actually in Minnesota, we're building our own militia. So we got the freedom fighters, we got our own. We're building up. You know, out in Atlanta, you guys had the Stone Mountain guys, the brothers. What is it, Grandmaster Jay?
That's Grandmaster Jay. Yeah, he came and made an impression on the 4th of July, man.
Oh yeah, so I'm going to be having them. You know, I'm tuned in with the Black Panthers and stuff. We all trying to do it all over.
I'm from the Zulu Nation. That's one of my brothers.
Okay, so I need you, if I can get our information, because we're going to be doing big events, and we're going down to. Are you guys all going to Washington, D.C. on August 28th?
I tell you what you do. Jay is the person that put us all together. Jay, make sure we stay together. Now watch what we can do, y'all. And it starts from right
Oh
here.
yeah, I'm about action. I'm about action. I'm about that action.
Yeah, we're gonna link it up. We're gonna link it up, definitely. Definitely.
What I'm about to say.
Let me tell all of y'all something. Let me tell all of y'all something for a second, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm about action too, so I would like to have these mothers on the show.
Yeah.
Jonathan, I would like
Yeah.
to definitely get the moms of these deceased.
Oh yeah. So
individuals
yeah,
that we all
absolutely. So
pray for on my show.
oh, absolutely. So what I'll do is I'll connect you with a group in Minnesota that has all the like 400 plus families that have been murdered by the police and by others, you know, vigilantes like Ahmaud Arbery, where it was Gregory and Travis Michael and then William Roddy Brown who killed Brian, who killed Ahmaud Arbery. So all those families, I will get you in touch with them, and then you can have the mothers on, and I'll directly I'll do that for you. And then I need your contact information. You know, Tyrone just hurry up and threw me on here, and so I just
we're gonna get it all. I'm gonna send all that to you, bro. We got that all as soon as we wrap up. I'm gonna send everything to you.
But I
Okay,
want to make thank you so much, Jonathan. And you can stay on, or Tyrone, or whoever.
Oh yeah.
Away. But all of my
all right.
audience,
I'm about to get back to work. I'm planning some marches this week coming up, so I'm getting back to work. But I'm gonna have Tyrone come back. But I love y'all, man. Keep up the good work. I love you, King.
Look forward to
Each one of
working
y'all,
with
and
you guys.
and you too, Queen Kim Jacobs, and we gonna fight. We gonna keep fighting. You hear me?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
and that's what I love the George Floyd image in the background, because that's
right.
his life spark. Thank you, Tyrone.
Did he tell y'all up, man? That's John Don. I call him John Don.
That was a good surprise, boy. That was a good surprise.
We also protest, and we also get in the community. We also feeding our families now, because in the state of Minnesota, these kids done hit two pandemics: the COVID-19 and the George Floyd. And in the inner city, these kids ain't get their iPads. They didn't get no learning when the school cut off. So guess what? You think they got better? Not at all. But that's why I say Black Lives Matter, all these activists and all that stuff. Hey, they talk. I need to see action, because those kids not getting in the community. But their pockets getting fat, and they're not doing what they're supposed to do. So this 10K initiative, we started to free people. Hey, we want to get to our families. We want to help our families. We want to educate our families, not to be dependent on the government all the time. Of course we need help. That's cool. But I don't need you to help me for all my life. And that's what we're trying to do here. So I had to let y'all listen to him. Point. He's been doing it for a long time here in the state of Minnesota. And he's been my brother that keep me on edge a little bit.
Excellent. Dr. Watson?
Hey, TC, that's a good point, man. We can't depend on the government, because right now, what you said was really poignant, because I have family members now getting caught up in this gang stuff in Denver, but many of them cannot leave because they're worried about their Section 8 vouchers transferred over to another place. So now you're hostage to where you can live based upon a Section 8 voucher.
Exactly.
That's crazy. Knowing you're in a community where you're getting shot up, the place is getting shot up and everything else, so that is critical, man. We have to really get to a place where we're able to be self-sufficient from a lot of the other stuff going on. You know, you look at Otto Gurley, who started Black Wall Street. He identified land in Tulsa, Oklahoma, got it, recruited these black people there, and they became self-sufficient. We can do the same thing now. We have $1.3 trillion of buying power. We have to move away from becoming consumers. Once we move away from becoming consumers and become investors and wealth builders, we are able to begin to function without them. And they know that. It's scary for them. But I think one of the things that Jonathan mentioned, I'll be quiet, is as we're doing this, we have to be very, very cognizant to build up our own militaries, our own police departments, our own militia, because they come for us when we build our own stuff. And if we don't have the protection, we're in trouble. One of the reasons we lost Black Wall Street was because they didn't have enough gun power, fighting power.
That's really good points. I mean, everything that you all are saying is so profound. But again, I'm hoping that you all will come back, and I think I've gotten a commitment from you all that this discussion goes well beyond 1 hour.
It's
Definitely.
necessary. It's necessary. We need part two or part
So
three in the series.
we'll have as many parts as you all will participate in, because let me put international DJ Finesse back on. We will have as many parts to this, literally the redemption of the Black man, hearing from Black men from all walks of life. It's not everybody just like these are profound, prolific professional men of standard that are working to change the trajectory of our country. So if we can continue these discussions, I think it would just be wonderful. And I'm grateful that you all are on. People said networking works. A lot of people are
Yes.
commenting.
Yes.
So make sure you guys subscribe to the Kim Jacobs Show. If you have not done that, you can do that on YouTube. You can also watch it on all the platforms that you're currently watching it on. I have the Kim Jacobs Facebook page now too, the Kim Jacobs Show Facebook page. So make sure you go and start following that, because I'll stream it live there as well. And if you ever want to be a part of sewing into the show so it can continue to be a show that's more permanent versus it just being something that comes on only during COVID-19, then feel free to Cash App Kim Jacobs Inc. Or you can also PayPal me.Kim Jacobs Inc. And I'll make sure I put all of those comments in the comment section. Any closing comment that you all want to share on today's broadcast? And let me go with International DJ Finesse first. Any information you want the community to know, and any comment that you really, wait, somebody said this was a great time listening from the Black men on this show. You all didn't even all get a chance to say so many things. So I want to make sure that I bring you back and okay, we just hone in on you on one of the sections for a minute. And so it's a lot that can still be said that wasn't said today. So make sure, go ahead, DJ Finesse, any specific comments you want to share? I think you're frozen. Okay. People said salute to you all as well.
I'll go ahead and jump in. I'll jump in on
ahead,
it and start it off. Start the closing remarks off. Well, first of all, like I said earlier, I just want to thank everybody on the panel that came out and sharing y'all time with us and y'all energy. Thank you, Kim, again. And like I said, we definitely have to continue this series very soon, because we haven't even addressed some of the questions that's necessary. So with that being said, I look forward to the next show. But real quick, I think that one key topic that we didn't bring into this is also the inclusion of the Black woman. And that's a whole nother show in itself. And how we're going to help and assist in redemption of the Black man and the redemption of our Black image, period. So, I just stop on that because I know we got to wrap up. But, I just wanted to kind of let you know I appreciate everything today. I appreciate all your audience. And yeah.
Well, Jay, before everybody else speaks, I want to say thank you personally as your sister. I am super grateful. Super grateful. I was trying to figure out, because my brother, he does a lot of AV and media projects, and he travels and does sets up stages and does all of this stuff, all of these big names. But I've tried to figure out, well, how can me and my brother partner to do some things? And when I say I totally, I'm just so grateful that you've taken the lead on bringing Black men together, and especially during this time in our society. So thank you, Jay. Thank you.
Thank you. And it's necessary. It's definitely necessary.
Andre?
Yeah, I want to add, once we know, fellas, it's too late. Once we know, we gotta do it. You know what I'm saying? They say once if you're ignorant to it and if you don't make nothing happen, it's not a situation. But once we come to a conscious mind and we know what we must do, we must apply. And I see the spirit in all of y'all here, man. And I see the hunger in y'all eyes, and I see the sincerity. And I appreciate being here.
That's good. And you know what I'm going to do the next time, because Javon actually put together a list of about 7 questions. And so I'm going to send you all each of those questions. And then that way you get a chance to kind of already be prepared with about a 2-minute answer. That way each of you get a chance to speak during the next episode.
Already on it, Kim. Already on it. They already got them.
You gonna hold TC to 2
I
minutes?
doubt it. TC is not gonna talk for 2 minutes. TC, we gotta give him 22 minutes.
Oh, you know, I need more than 2 minutes, man. You can't. Hey, see, I told y'all free people.
Hey, he gonna need his own show. He needs his own show.
However it flows. It's kind of like when you know church.
He needs your own show, boy. You crazy, boy.
You know, you say you gotta let the spirit lead. So here on the Kim Jacobs show, it's kind of similar. Let the TC spirit lead, right?
TC and firecracker. You're firecracker, man.
You know what
Live wire.
Okay, James, go ahead. You got a comment?
My comment is, man, as I look on this panel and I see all these different faces and different ideas and different feelings, I just think we need to carry that in our communities, man. I think we got to start learning to love people for who they are, not what we want them to be. So once we can unveil that out of our minds, we can come together as one. We ain't got to go to no government or nothing. It starts right here. So as you go through your day and you see your brother or you see your sister or a friend cross the street, you got to carry it like that's you. So leaders gonna be leaders, followers gonna be followers, man. I mean, it's time for everybody to step up and be a leader, man. That's all I can say.
Correct.
Right.
I say like this here, mama, and I appreciate you, young fella. When George Ford died, he said, "Mama." For every mother heard that, every man heard that, and that's time for every king to stand up and take care of theirs, so they don't have to worry about that mama crying and shedding. There's too much bloodshed now. It's 2020. Why is going on? Kings need to step up because they already praise us all the time, right? But they forget for that king to be born, it took a queen. So let's take that.
No, without the queen is Mother Earth. That is the start.
I'm trying to tell you. That's why I said
that is the start.
They praise the king, but they forget about that queen made that
king. That's the start.
Y'all must be definitely. I definitely need some female people on here because I'm an emotional wreck. Just when you screamed out how that man said, "Mama," I know I represent every mother in America, every woman around the world, no matter what their nationality is. To hear that grown man scream out for his mother, he's like, "Mom, you know, Mama," and every mother would give her all. Every mother that's worth her weight would give her everything to save her son in that moment. And so for somebody to sit there with their hands in their pocket and strip the life out of another human being, that destroys any mother, especially when you hear it said right from his own mouth. This isn't something that's a Lifetime movie or something that's reenacted. This is something that the man was saying live, where we could all hear him screaming, "Mama, Mama!"
And that hateful spirit.
Can y'all hear me?
That hateful spirit is what's got that hateful spirit is what got our women on the front line. You know, so we're gonna use that.
Say "mama" all the time since this protest happened. I lost my mama 4 years ago, and she ain't raised me. My grandma did. But in the Bible, it say, "Honor thy mother, thy father, thy days on earth gonna be longer." It took me to go back and revisit my mama, and we had to come to a realization to understand that, hey, we all make mistakes, but at the end of the day, that's still mama. And what I took of that 4 years ago, Colin Kaepernick sat down on a knee and told the world what's been going on. And to see that trained military reserve officer now sitting on him, killing him with no remorse on the knee. Come on, man. What we gonna do about it?
DJ,
come on, man. Ain't enough talking.
That's the hit.
Ain't enough talking.
Hey, watch this. I gotta say something now.
Go ahead, DJ.
Go ahead.
I'm a singer, but the time for us marching, singing, "We Shall Overcome" is over. Now, like any other bully, you can let the bully beat on you and take your money every day. But the minute you stand up and fight, then he gonna respect you a little bit more now. Now, it's one thing. Now, I can speak for myself, and I just maxed out a prison, a hip-hop legend. I'm not getting on no ground, man. I'll give you my ID, run my record. I'm not going to allow you an opportunity to disarm me for you to have the advantage. If I'm going to die, I'm not going to be the only one dying. And the time has come. This ain't no tough guy stuff, but this is not the problem. This is the solution. What the hell are we gonna do? Are we gonna hold hands? We can't even hold hands no more. It's a coronavirus. We gonna see we shall overcome, or we gonna get the ball rolling and get some work done. What are we gonna do? It ain't got to be physical, but I know for a fact when a bully know you a fighter, you at ease a little bit. He won't come at you as hard as he usually do. We can't act. We got to demand and put some work in.
But that's a topic.
What are we gonna do? We gonna sit around and beg, oh please sir, or we gonna make an example, and somebody gonna give me something to eat, or I'm gonna take something to eat, and I'm willing to get killed for it. That's when people start to say, oh, people ain't playing no more. Maybe we need to sit down at the table and renegotiate this 400 years of injustice.
Well, that's what I'm sure we're gonna be talking about that on one of our episodes as well, because that is a much needed discussion. Whether you comply or whether you stand your ground, because that's a whole topic.
That's a whole nother subject.
Hey, watch this.
Hold up.
Part of my energy, but who married me is who married and mentored real Malcolm X. And I salute the Martin Luther King, but I'm cut from the real Malcolm X. And however it's gonna be done, justice gonna be done.
So I'll say this.
We just gotta move smart with it, though.
I'll say this.
We gotta move smart with it.
We giving,
fight fire with fire, you only get more fire, and to be honest, they got more fire. So at the same token, you always got to be ready to stand your ground. But it's a time and place to stand your ground.
Right.
That's all I'm trying to say, my brother. I'm with you, because I feel like this. I tell people all the time, and I feel bad to say this, but I do have some type of envy or some type of ill will towards police. But
I know with all of them,
I have to move smart.
And then
I need good white police officers to help me educate the corrupt white police officers. I need good black police officers to help me mentor these corrupt black ones, so forth and so on.
Well, I always go back to the mental, so I just think we have to get police to think that uniform just a uniform. You put that joint on, but when you take it off, you still a man or a woman. So we have to just, like I said, it goes to the mental to me. It goes, we can fight. But if we don't change nothing mentally, we just gonna keep fighting.
Okay.
What you was gonna say, Dr. Adams? Dr. Adams, right quick. What you was gonna add in?
So DJ, wait a minute.
Look, so here's what I'll say, right? Because we clearly got to come back. Right.
Everybody.
We clearly. Oh, I'm sorry.
Jacobs show. I just want to make sure that we're clear that the stance of my show is that not all police officers are bad, not all, whether you're black or white. There are some good police officers that have the good of the people and at the core of who they are as individuals.
And Kim, I don't want to cut you off, but let me say one more quick thing. When we can get everybody to look at police like they really are heroes. They really here to help us. So we can sit here and fight against them, but we have to get to the point where they are heroes and we implement them as heroes, we treat them as heroes, even down your 5 people, all that, because if we fighting with negative energy, you're only gonna get negative energy back. So we can expect somebody else to change, but if you're not changing in the process or even trying, like I said, put it this way, somebody got to be the bigger man first.
We got to get the police officers and the mayors and the politicians that's about doing the right thing in position, and then everything else will fall in place.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but see, the mayors and politicians ain't on the ground zero, so they're only looking at CNN and they only getting the outside view.
I'm talking about the police too. We got the right police officer in position of power. Everything else should fall. That's just like the gang leader to me. Everybody say the gang's so corrupted. When I approach the leader, I hold him accountable to take care of his students. That's the same way we need to do with electing or getting the right police officers in position to train the corrupt police officers, so we ain't got to go through all this bull crap no more, man.
I agree. And let me say this, and then I'm going to go to you, Dr. Adams. that anytime you have anyone in a position of authority, regardless of what your role is in society, it can be a physician, it can be a principal, it can be a police officer, it can be a
That's who we
priest,
want to hold
it can be
accountable.
a spiritual leader. It does not matter. It can be a talk show host. Okay, put it on just a talk show host. If you are a person of influence and in authority to be able to influence someone else's life, and you
Yeah,
use your authority in a ill will or in a bad way to be able
yeah,
to harm someone, then
yeah.
we
We
need
either
God.
remove you and put somebody else in that's gonna do the
He's
right thing.
finishing my sentence. That's not what I was getting ready to say. But DJ Finesse is
See
hilarious.
me, look.
Hey,
Like he makes fun of when I would breathe to actually
But,
go ahead and pick my statement up and finish it. It's hilarious. So anyway,
but
what I'm saying,
I haven't seen a corrupt police officer. I see corrupt decisions.
what I'm saying is that anytime you have someone that's in authority, I do believe that we need to pray for those that have rule over us and that they don't misuse their authority so that it works for the betterment of
Right.
all mankind. Okay, Dr. Adam.
So I just wanted to say, one thing, we were given these parting shots, and people always want to know, well, what can I do or where do I start? I grew up in the hip hop generation too, and we used to say, get in where you fit in, right? Do something. I don't care if it's going to volunteer. I don't care if it's marching. I don't care if it's joining a militia, but do something. You cannot sit on the sideline anymore. There's an old civil rights term in the 60s, 50s that said tree shakers and jelly makers, right? And you need both. You need tree shakers. That's people who's agitators. That's people who's laying down on the freeway. That's people who's marching. And you need jelly makers, right? People who's behind the scenes, working with politicians, changing policy so we can dismantle some of this systemic stuff. But we need both. And what oftentimes happens is tree shakers get mad at jelly makers and jelly makers get mad at tree shakers, but we need both in order to dismantle what we got going on. So get in where you fit in, and I'll see you on either side you want.
That's good, good, good. Okay. A comment came in. It hurts to know that our men have lesser mortality rate than we do. Nothing like mom. Our men are great, but you cannot know the connection of pushing your kings through birth. We stand with you. All of the women, we stand with you in this fight, young princes and seasoned kings. The women stand with you all. And I can tell you, thank you, Allison Skeet. You summed it up. I couldn't type all of that. I was just sitting over here crying. I was like, the women, we believe in you, kings. But I know that there are so many women that I speak on behalf of that believe in men, the men of our culture that are African American men, black warriors, black kings that are here to lift up your family and lift up what's right in society. So anyway, okay, who did not get a chance? Dr. Tommy Watson.
Let's get Watson in there.
You know what, man, I thank all you brothers. I thank you, Kim. I thank all your listening audience. It's so imperative that we can have these conversations, and we're all needed. And what you see here is a number of black men who are not just about talking, but about action, though. And that's what it's going to take. And I really appreciate the love. I appreciate the passion. And like Dr. Adam said, we need to just get in. It's going to take all of us, man. It's going to take all of us, no matter what your political perspectives are. It doesn't matter what your economic levels. It's going to take all of us getting in the game to make this thing happen. And for those who don't want to get in the game, we're going to roll without you.
That's right.
Wow. Okay. The redemption of the black man has begun on the Kim Jacobs show, and wow, we're gonna be. You'll see another flyer with the same photos on here, with a different spin on the topic, but it's going to be the redemption of the black man series on the Kim Jacobs show.
Hey, I think we're gonna need 3 hours next time, Kim. 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, look, I just want to say one thing to all my brothers. Kim, you too. Look, control your thoughts. Thoughts, you know what I'm saying? Your thoughts make your speech turn into action. So always keep a guard on them thoughts.
Well said. Well said.
I'm glad you
Well
said
said.
that, James, because another piece of our topic in the future is the theory that, like your shirt says, I can't breathe. there are a lot of people that's talking about when our words having power and us saying I can't breathe and what that means. So we're not going to deep dive into it right now because we have to cut the show off.
You get this in there too. You know, that rise above hate
Mr.
too.
Carter, but Tyrone had something to say. What you had to say, my
Let,
brother?
let the Reverend Carter speak.
This
Reverend
what I
Yeah,
had to say
Reverend
to
Dr.
DJ.
2C.
I had to say to DJ, and my grandma told me this a long time ago, son. An eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. Somebody got to see something different. You understand that? An eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. One of us got to see different.
Never fight fire with fire. Fight
we
fire
gotta
with
see
water.
different, man.
Gotta see different.
That's why we at where we at.
Strategize. Let's strategize. I'm done with the talking. They done said that so much. Well, I'm out every day, 7 days a week, so a person can't tell me I committed my life to this. But we need each other to understand. It's a time for something and it's a time for violence. But right now, we got to make sure we doing the right things here so they can
It's
hear
a time
us
for organization
and watch it move.
The aggression don't have to be physical. The aggression can be financial. You know how powerful our dollar is?
Exactly. So we strategize to go get that money to help our kids.
And you know how,
because at the end of the day, we as adults, right? We supposed to suffer for our babies. That's what we fight for. So take out your frustration and think about your baby. I'm gonna do whatever I got to do for my baby don't have to suffer.
I'm about to give up some free game. Listen to me carefully. You know why small black businesses fail? Because they go to the oppressor for their inventory. They're not going to give you the same amount. They're not going to give you the prices that's going to compete with their numbers. That's suicidal.
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier.
But you need to understand international business and trade. You got to understand where to go and get the value. We don't got to. My thing is this here. My goal personally, if Walmart don't want to hire us, then let's build our own Walmart.
Okay, so Steve, you know what? That's a great point, DJ Finesse. So on one of the episodes, everyone, we're going to talk about, because each of these men individually and even collectively in some regards have become a shining light in their own right. I mean, like they are doing extremely well in various walks of life. So I would like us to talk about some solutions on how people can start a business, Dr. Watson, from the ground zero up. Like, how can you, if you are interested in being a all-time leading person in the NFL and all of these different things, what are some of the basics? I'm talking about like ground zero basics that these young people their parents would show them these episodes. How do you get into audio visual? I clicked the wrong button backstage and couldn't turn it off. Oh my God. I mean, so a lot of the information that you all are sharing, how do you start a nonprofit organization, people empowering people? How do you become a DJ that's like a hip hop legend for the future? I mean, how do one of these millennials that say, I got my studio, I got all of this stuff, the padding and everything, but when I get on the mic, I just get locked up? I don't know. I'm just brainstorming here. How do you become
the passion?
Hey, brother Tyrone Carter hit it on the head earlier. When we working for somebody is over with. We gotta learn how to get our own. You hit it dead on the head. Now, that's the light bulb, brother Tyrone Carter, and Jay, make sure we connect. Because I promise you this, what other parts of the country you ain't got, I do. And let's line it all up, and then let's be an impact in every major city in America. And then we can
do it.
I'm down with you. Now we can say, hey, if this school board president ain't going to do it right, then we're going to elect the whole city. Let's put the whole country behind that city.
And we can,
exactly.
To add on, just like, like the theory of Harriet Tubman, not as severe as Harriet Tubman, with the, the results that she did. Either you win or you get, it might be fatal. But, we got to start applying that mentality. Like, at this point in time, you're with us. That's going to help us bring this culture to, our grand rising, or you're of the ignorance. You of them. And it's that simple mind frame that we have to adapt. Like, like we have to become unified in what we're working towards. I don't care if you're diverse. I mean, I don't care if the variety of backgrounds we come from, even including some of our family members that's LGBTQ. You know, and I just wanted to incorporate that as well because all of us face that. Every cousin, every third cousin of ours, we have that in our family. So with that being said, we can't exclude any communities at this point in time. It's a time for us to come together and heal, and as well as the family unit. Personally, you have to figure out a way to heal family units. And most time when people say family units, they think an immediate family, like what's within their household. No, you have to handle like all the way to your, you know, how they say they got that first cousin, the third cousin, the seventh cousin. You have to go down and get back into like where we came from, because that's where our safe grounds were at. That's when we was working with each other. That's when we could cry to each other and have self-counseling in the community, and not have to go to a counseling act.
It takes a village to raise. We got to get back to that. That's very.
We have to get back to the family unit.
It's funny, Brother Jay, that you mentioned Harriet Tubman. You know what we do in hip hop that I have to re-educate these guys with? Remember when they're singing in the woods and the slave masters singing black just in the woods singing? Those drums and that sound was the call to freedom. Come on! That's the same thing that hip hop was founded on. And it's about sort of that's what I'm doing with my platform. When they hear this sound that we're doing, that's the universal language of unity. Come on, join with me. I don't care what color you are.
It goes straight to that heart.
That's what, one thing every human being has in common is individuality. Nobody can be you. Find your greatness, man, and let's stick with the winners.
Well,
you gonna decide who you want to be, and it's 3 rules of success, man. Know what you want to do, learn how to do it, and go do it. If you want to fix cars, you can't go around the painter. You got to go around mechanics, and you're gonna learn how to fix the car, then start fixing one. And it's just being understanding of it, just that simple. You want to be a politician?
People, places, and things.
Go around politicians. You can't learn football at the baseball stadium. You got to go around. You got to understand the goals and understand where the focus are.
And you know, this has been said a couple times, and Kim, you hit on this. I think as going forward, it'll be very, very helpful for us to start talking about the how, because we start talking about how Black Wall Street was created, how Sweet Auburn in Atlanta was created. We need to start looking at start knowing the blueprint that they put together for us to start duplicating individually and as a collective group as well, though. And when we duplicate those things, we're going to get the same results.
Yeah. And some of them people are still alive now. That's why we got to respect our elders and our OGs. That's important. That's the Willie Lynch move to divide and conquer the young and the old and the light and the dark. We got to end that, man.
well,
And with that being said, you know, I just want to make one point real quick, and this is a little quick 30-second point. We just have to get back to protocol. You know what I mean? It's a big thing in our community. Like, I'm 45 this year, so there's no way that even LeBron James, I'm gonna call him out because he's a very well-known household name, with all his millions and all that he accomplished in the world. He went way further than me, and I'm gonna boldly say this statement. But even with everything that he's accomplished, you're still not on my level. And I don't subscribe to what you subscribe to, because I was that young man at one point in time. So now I'm subscribing to different things as a 40-year-old plus man. So like, what's bad in our community is we always see, like, back to the entertainers that's like heavy in our community. We always subscribing to younger Kobe Bryant's, God rest his soul. We always subscribing to Kyrie Irving, all these other younger players or Jay-Z's or whatever, instead of really like putting a protocol in place, like a Dr. Paul Anderson. Why aren't we subscribing to him that has so much wisdom? Because at the end of the day, that wisdom isn't bringing us flashy money. We get taught systematically to adapt to the people that's bringing the flashy money.
I can speak for the music. That's because the wrong people are deputized on the top. They not like me. They rapping all that stuff they didn't live. They don't know what it feel like to bury their mama and their daddy won't wake up and they lose three brothers and sisters. They don't know what that feel like. They rapping somebody else. They don't live that life for real. Other people who they want to put the money behind because they not having the knowledge like we do.
okay.
Right.
So that's why people like me should be in this Because I got the whole world back there. Who got mine? Let's win-win. I don't want to win and you lose.
That's right. He doesn't want to win it. You're gonna lose. That's what DJ Finesse.
I'd rather put the $1 million nationally. Who with me?
Okay, so that's a good point. We're getting ready for today's show. Let me comment.
Everybody, mute your mic, please.
So that's something that it's some kind of echo. We're going to go ahead. This broadcast have. I think that's close to one day. Mike's real.
I'll mute your mic.
We're beginning to echo, it sound like.
Yeah, it is. It's your mic. Mute that.
Mute your mic, DJ Finesse.
They don't like me to talk. You see, they messing me up, y'all.
It's the energy. It's the energy.
It's just the echo, man. It's the echo, man. It's all good. You're traveling, man. You're a traveling man.
Okay, we'll have an episode on that too. It's like, who is they? What are they doing to us, right? Because it's them and they, and so it's a lot of theories surrounding that. Oh, hey, there's no echo anymore. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, because they see I caught them. That's why. I know y'all watching me. Look good. I'm coming.
Okay, listen, everybody. Let me be very clear that on the Kim Jacobs Show, the views of every single guest do not reflect the views of the actual show itself. So we're not going to say.
I'm accountable for what I said. Don't hold nobody else accountable. I said it.
I'm just saying, listen, we have to do a disclaimer briefly that as we do the redemption of the black man, or whether I have anybody on the show, it doesn't even matter who's on the show, because I have lots of different guests from all walks of life, and they all have different theories and different concepts and views and statements and things that are shared on the show. And some of the things I agree with, some of the things I don't agree with. I'm providing a platform for communication and synergy and togetherness to happen through the Kim Jacobs Show. Again, if it's something that can help your life from a balanced perspective, this is going to help a lot of people's lives that are in the African American community. People are chiming in like crazy with comments over there. A lot of people are going to see this video on a replay. So put your comments, put your thoughts, share who you're resonating with, because there's something that's being said in each of these men that goes and speak directly to you and to what your situation is. So feel free to chime in and share those. Okay, is there any final thing that just burned in your soul?
Kim, what you said right there, that capitalized on everything that we're speaking on. When you said your disclaimer, that as a culture, that can be transferred into our culture. We have to adapt and adjust to everybody's differences. We're all different.
That's right.
We come from different walks of life. We want everybody in a little box. And if you act like this, and it's not going to happen like that. So with that being said, that disclaimer, you can type that up and actually send that out across the culture, across the Americas, across America, and that can work for us, because we have to start there. Other communities that have reclaimed themselves or redeemed themselves, that's where they started from. Forget the differences. How are we going to work together?
That's right.
How are we going to make it work?
That's right. Everybody has
That's the greatest part.
Individuality. Everybody have individuality in common. Nobody is one another. Twins is different.
That's right.
Now, why can't you be the best you could be and it's all right? See, that's another thing. You gotta a lot of people be acting, man. Now, I'm gonna be around people who I can be myself around, and that's where I should be at. And if I can't be myself, then I'm around the wrong people. I ain't got no business around that.
You should be able to be yourself for sure in every aspect of your life. Other than that, you don't exist, because all of us, without our individual gifts and talents that we bring to the world misses out in some regard, because it was something only you were created to do. So I agree with you, DJ Finesse. Dr. Adams, any final comments you want to say too? Because I don't want to leave anybody out.
No, I'm looking forward to the next one. We got a lot left to talk about. We just scratching the surface.
Okay.
Let's keep it
James?
going.
Oh, well, I can say,
Good seeing you guys. God bless. Love y'all.
I'm gonna go
Take
back
care,
to what you were
everybody.
saying, and I'm gone. But
Love y'all, brothers.
true leaders don't agree. True leaders make decisions.
True leaders make decisions.
Okay, and on
So
that
everybody
note,
gonna be different.
Everybody's gonna be different.
because we're going to keep getting echoes. What we're going to do, we're going to have a part 2 coming up. You'll get the date. We're going to do within our hour though, 11 to 12 for the next one. And I just went longer for this one because I wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to speak. But we are going to have another redemption of the Black man. That's going to be coming up again soon. Thank you guys for being here and staying for so long for today's episode. And I cannot wait to have you guys back on again. Thank you, Javon Jackson, my brother, for coordinating this.
Thank you, Tim. Once again, thank you so much.
Finesse, thank you, James. See you guys next time. Thank you, my best studio audience.
Thank you.
God bless you. I thank you, Morgan.
you.
God bless you. I thank you, everybody that work with the God bless you all.